For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Leah Houston. I'm an emergency doc. I'm the founder of HPEC, which is what we're going to share with you today. It's going to wait a few more minutes. Let's see how many people we have in here. So I want to let everybody know that we are currently live on Facebook. So anything you say is going to be live, and we're also going to be recording this so that we can put it on YouTube for people to see in the future. So just keep that in mind as you ask questions and things of that nature, and share your thoughts. So we'll wait a few more minutes and let everybody join us. So I want everybody to know that there's an option to go into the chat. There's going to be a couple times I'm going to ask some questions if you want to go into the chat and respond. And right now, if you want to let us know who you are, are you doctors? Are you patients? Are you investors? Are you tech entrepreneurs? Are you just curious individuals who found us somehow? Let us know who you are, how you found us, and what brings you here today. And without further ado, I'm going to get started. So I'm going to share my screen.
Come on here.
All right. So we're going to be talking about HPEC. Let's see. I don't know if I can turn the doorbells off. I guess not. Well, we're going to hear some doorbells. That's okay. So I want to start with this picture. I don't remember where I came across this picture, but it really was really interesting to me when I first saw it. I was like, what is this picture? Is it fiber optic cables? Is it, phone connections? Well, what it is actually it's Facebook connections from around the world. And so I like this picture because it shows how connected we've become, and we are just in the infancy of this digital era where we're all connected. The internet was just invented in 1991. Facebook went public in 2012. It was so recent. And yet here we all are all connected. And I want to share a quote by Peter Thiel, who is the founder of PayPal, and he is the author of the book 0 to 1, where this quote comes from. And it says, the most valuable businesses of coming decades will be built by entrepreneurs who seek to empower people rather than to make them obsolete. And I like this quote because that's exactly what we're doing here at HPEC. We're going to empower the physician-patient community to fix healthcare. And so I also want to share, the name of our company is called the Humanitarian Physicians Empowerment Community. So we are doing exactly what Peter Thiel is saying that we should be doing. And I want to share this quote by Alice Walker, who is a social activist and an author of The Color Purple, if you guys have heard of that book. And she said, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. And so in my opinion, as a community of physicians and patients, we have given up our power. We have been made to think we don't have any. The current system has, in fact, in some ways convinced us that we shouldn't have any power. But I need everybody to realize, the healthcare system is nothing without the doctors and the patients. Without the patients, we as physicians have lost our calling, have lost our, what brought us to do what we do. We've lost the ability to do what we do. And without physicians, nothing happens. Without the stroke of a doctor's pen, you can't get a prescription, you can't get surgery, you can't get admitted to the hospital. And so, because we have so much power as physicians, they have built systems around us in order to kind of take some of that power away and to make us think that we don't have any, to, indoctrinate us to think that we don't. And so as we go through this, at any point when you think to yourself, well, I don't think that's possible, well, I don't think we can do that, remember that we in some ways have been indoctrinated to think that, and we need to stop thinking that way, because that's what's, we're creating our own reality. And so this is actually the reality that we are kind of in right now. And this is also the problem that we aim to solve. If you look at this picture, you have a doctor and a patient, and they don't look too happy. She looks disorganized. There's paperwork everywhere. The patient doesn't look too thrilled. They're, trying to figure things out. And there's a bunch of other people in the room, and they don't seem to know that those people are in the room. And those are health system administrators and insurance executives. And they're watching them. They're surveilling the behavior of doctors and patients. And if you notice, the physician has a computer there, but she's not using it. She's sifting through paperwork. And she's sifting through paperwork because as we as physicians know, the majority of the data on these electronic health records is really junk, dirty data that's not valuable to us. Well, it's junk to us anyway. And in reality, that computer has become a surveillance machine, a billing machine, and a surveillance machine over our behaviors. It's monitoring our every move. And these third parties that you see in the room are collecting that data, and they're using it to deny services to our patients and to deny payment to us as doctors for our services in order to capture more revenue for themselves. And so this picture really does describe, the problem that we aim to solve. And in order to solve that, we need to get the middlemen out of the room and create secure, direct doctor-to-patient communication. And when I say direct, there's a new secure technology that can do that, and that's called self-sovereign identity technology. And I'm not going to go deep into the weeds on the tech on this, but what I do want to say is the same people who designed the standards around the current version of the internet, the same people who decided that a URL is going to be called a URL and that HTTPS is going to be before every web address, the same people who designed the background behind how we sign into Facebook and how we sign into our banks, the identity and privacy technology, are now building a new secure technology for what they call Web 3.0, which is the next version of the internet that's peer-to-peer, that allows for direct secure connections between two entities without having to go through a third party. And when I say third parties, right now, in order to communicate digitally, we need a third party. Our social media communications, our email communications, our bank communications, the EHR communications that we have, about our patients, those are all third-party communication systems. So this tool allows for for secure communication without third-party oversight or interference. And so in essence, it creates an opportunity for agency and for autonomy for people who choose to pick up this technology and use it. And this is the technology that we aim to use in order to create this situation for ourselves. In this picture, you see more organized situation, two people who are happy. And if you look, the doctor has a tablet and the patient has a phone, and there is a secure direct connection there. And so we need to leverage this technology in order to create this reality for us. Because as we mentioned in the previous cartoon, we as physicians have been unknowingly participating in giving up our patients' private health information. And we've also unknowingly been participating in giving up our information as physicians. They are surveilling our behavior. And so now that we know we have this technology, in order to fix this problem and to create this new reality for ourselves, in my opinion, it's our duty as physicians who took the Hippocratic Oath to now pick up this technology and build it for ourselves and for our patients to build a better future. And so I call this Hippocratic Oath 2.0, and Dr. Megan Babb helped me title that, and she wrote an article, and that's where these pictures are from. So if you notice, the doctor has a credential on her wall. It's her medical degree. And if you think about it, as physicians, our identity is our credentials. Without our medical degree, without our residency, we're no longer physicians, right? Without our medical licenses, they're the things that allow us to do what we say we're going to do. And it also, those credentials allow us to log into systems, whether it be EHR or billing systems and things of that nature. So we need to leverage this technology in order to own our credentials, in order to own our identity, so that when we log into this new self-sovereign system, we can make those secure direct communications. And so in order to own our credentials, we need to understand that this is also a big pain point that needs to be solved in general. It's a very expensive problem already. And that's how we're going to leverage this tool to fix the problem. So, right now, the credentialing situation, an issuing body issues the credential to the doctor. The doctor wants to get into an insurance network or a job. They present that credential. The verifying institution takes a look, says, yeah, thanks for that, but is it real? So they go back to the issuing institution and they say, hey, is this credential real? And they say, yep, it's real. And it sounds easy enough, but this process could take 4 to 6 months. And it can cost up to $5 billion a year on average. And so where's that money coming from? So physicians lose up to $150,000 in revenue for each credentialing event. And health systems lose on average over $1 million per physician per credentialing event. So this is a very expensive problem. And this is a very timely solution for this problem. And so the way that it's going to work, issuing bodies are still going to issue credentials. We're not going to be changing the background process of what's happening in the analog world. But we are now going to have the issuing institution write proof of that credential onto a blockchain or a decentralized data registry. Now, it's happening at the same time, so you don't need any more redundancies there. So now when the physician shows that credential to the verifying body, they can automatically read that decentralized data registry at the same time. So that allows for the physician to be the primary source of verified truth. And it allows them employment mobility, where, if you can quickly show who you are, then you can easily move from system to system and avoid unfair contracts. And so just to let everybody know, there are already organizations that are doing this. So the 4 entities on the bottom are blockchain credentialing solutions. So these entities are already using blockchain for credentialing for the physician community. So this is a technology that's already being adopted. So this is a slide to show opportunities for co-opetition, and it's also a slide to demonstrate that this is coming with or without us. So we have a real opportunity to create something for ourselves. Solve.care and Synaptic Alliance are using blockchain in different ways. And the Synaptic Alliance is actually a consortium of insurance companies. But every single company you see here is using our data as physicians and putting it on the blockchain. And so this is the landscape. So what are we doing differently? So we're including community. So we're not only fixing the credentialing problem like all of those other companies, we're creating a decentralized referral network of practicing physicians, connecting the physician community to each other so that we can, provide the most optimal care for our patients. And so I'm going to show the demo now. And let's see, do this one, share this. Okay, hope everybody can see it. And so this is a clickable prototype that's going to show what this application is going to look like and feel like when we're done building it. All right, so yesterday I got an invitation to join a physician referral network called HPEC. I uploaded it and went through the onboarding, which required identity verification. And today, this notification popped up asking me to add credentials to my wallet. So let's see how to get that done. So when I enter the application, I see different options for credentials. And I notice at the top here that it says that the credentials will be stored on my device, meaning they're only going to be shared if I explicitly choose to share them. So that's great. So I'm going to choose to upload my medical license. And I have a license in New York, so I'm going to choose that. So this screen is telling me a little bit more about what it means when I upload my medical license. This is the first step in the process of formal credential verification. And when that process is complete, I'll be able to join exclusive communities with other physicians who have also been verified. And so this is how we're going to create this secure, trusted network. So now, until we have agreements with every credentialing body, we are going to need to bridge the identity verification process by first uploading our own credentials. So that's what's happening here. We're taking a picture, but the plan is for this step to eventually go away. So I'm going to verify that this information that was picked up is correct and store the uploading copy in my device. So we're going to use facial recognition to make sure that it's me performing this task. And awesome, so my credentials are now stored. Now I need to make a formal request for verification. So I'm going to verify this with the state of New York because for this demo, we're going to assume that they've already agreed to issue digital certificates for medical licensing. So here it shows the New York State Medical Board as the issuing body that my credential verification request is going to be sent to. So we're going to hit begin, and we want to just make sure that the information is accurate before sending. And so they're also asking for explicit permission to send my uploaded credential along with proof of my identity in order to make this formal request to the New York State Medical Board. So we're going to do biometric verification again, and the request is sent. Awesome. So let's see what our wallet looks like now. So I'm receiving points for sending this verification through the app. So as you can see, my New York State license is uploaded but not verified, but my driver's license is both uploaded and verified because that happened on the onboarding process. Now, when I open the licensing portion, I see the formal request is pending down here at the bottom, but I see what happens when the state actually responds to that request on the other end. So once they send me my license, that part will go away. So let's just behave as if we closed the application and we just opened it up either the next day or a few hours later and we receive another notification. So here you see that the state university or the state of New York responded and they've issued my digital medical license. So let's see what that looks like. So this is obviously from the state of New York. You have the emblem here and there's this QR code that represents the actual credential. So when you use this QR code moving forward and share your license, it comes along with proof that it's valid and that it comes from the state of New York. So this right here is what makes the physician the primary source of verified truth of their credentials. So let's accept this into the wallet. Now you can see that I received even more points for receiving the formal credential and my identity is strengthened. So when you look, you see that the license is now uploaded and verified just like my driver's license. So at this point, I could add another credential, but I'm noticing that I have a notification in my inbox. So let's check that out. So as you can see, I've now been accepted to this New York State physician-only community, a community that is only full of doctors who have been verified by the state of New York. And I've also noticed that the friend of mine who invited me to this application also endorsed me for my credentials. So let's take a look and see what the community looks like. So here they're asking us to review the community guidelines. So one thing to notice is that because this is a decentralized application, these are just guidelines. This is a self-moderating forum, meaning us as a community, we need to work together to keep the content relevant and impactful. So these guidelines explain the application's mechanism to build and maintain a trusted and censorship-resistant physician-only community. So let's accept these guidelines. So this is the New York State physician license community. So it looks like people are talking about the New York Health Act. So as I scroll, I recognize Dr. Savannah Wynn's name because she and I refer patients to each other, and I also went to medical school with her. I like what she has to say, but when I click the heart button, it gives me more options than just to like something. It's asking why I like it. Is it relevant? Is it impactful? Is it actionable? I think this is a really important topic that we need to pass legislation on, so I definitely think it's actionable. And if enough people agree with me, then we have an opportunity to collectively create a separate forum to discuss just this one particular issue. So I can also look at her profile here, and when I look at her profile, there's a little more information, but I also have an opportunity to endorse her as well. So as I mentioned, we refer patients to each other, so I can click that, and I also went to medical school with her. So I'm going to endorse her profile for those two things, and as you can see, I also receive points for continuing to build the HPEC network. Now, when I go back to the community tab, you can see the only group I'm currently in is the New York State Licensed Physicians group. So when I onboarded, I mentioned that I'm a pediatrician and I have a fellowship in endocrinology, but I haven't yet uploaded or formally verified those credentials. So this is telling me that in order to enter those communities, I need to do that. So what else are we seeing here? We already looked at the inbox, so let's check out the wallet. So as you see, you can see your credentials here, but you also notice that there's a payments tab that we haven't really mentioned. The HPEC application is going to provide a mechanism to receive payments directly, which is another obviously powerful value add. So also eventually the inbox is going to have a space for patients so that we can have secure communication with our patients as well. So I think this app is awesome. I'm actually going to invite some more of my colleagues here with the invite tab so that we can work together to restore privacy and trust to the practice of medicine. So that's the end of the demo. Thank you so much for taking a look, and I hope you decide to join us. And I just wanted to close out with one thing. I wanted to kind of show the timeline of where we are. And just to let everybody know, so we're at this crowdfunding period right here. And, you know, we're going to be building the MVP, iterating on the MVP with your feedback. And then we're going to start working on V1. We're going to use that user feedback to work on V1. And, you know, we're hoping that by 2024, you know, HPEC becomes the go-to network. You know, this is going to be the place where patients go to find you, where you go to find your fellow colleagues to refer your patients to, and where we go to collectively organize and discuss and communicate around things that are important to us. So with your help, we can make this a reality. So thank you. And I just wanted to close with this quote from Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And so I know this is a very out of the box idea. I know this is on the edge of reality for a lot of people, but if we keep doing and thinking the same things we've been doing and thinking that brought us here, we cannot expect things to get better. We will probably have things continue to get worse. So take a chance and choose a future where you have autonomy and privacy and agency over the doctor-patient relationship again. Sound good? All right. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Leah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leah. So excited.
Yeah, me too.